I will say this out loud and to you directly. I cherish you as a friend, my friend, and it means a lot to me that you are here. And I know you had to go through a lot, so thank you for your time and your energy and your wisdom. This is going to be an interview that so many people, their lives will change just hearing your enthusiasm and your drive and your passion for what you do. So thank you.
Thank you, man. This feeling is you smell great. Thank you, Nitro. The feeling's mutual, man.
Awesome.
You're a fantastic human being.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. So everyone, quick introduction. This is John Guydon. We have spent many hours together, both in person on webinars and meetings, masterminds, groups, trying to come up with all kinds of ideas and thoughts about businesses and creations. And so what I want to do is just introduce you to someone who is not only a riveting speaker, an amazing husband, a great father. I would love to share with you all a video that he created called "Everyone Has Hardships." This was a TEDx talk that is really quite incredible. Please watch it. I will link it in the description box below. It's worth your 20 minutes. It's fun. It's exciting. It's entertaining, but it also brings so many open parallels to our lives and how we should approach different topics on race and how we can really break through a lot of the stereotypes that you think hold people back. So anyway, it was an awesome talk, man. Awesome presentation. John, tell me a little bit about who you are, man. What do you do? What do you do, John?
That's a good question. Hey, so just FYI, that wasn't the original intended title. TED changed.
They did. They definitely changed. What was it supposed to be?
So the title that I came up with was "Why the Race Card Has Expired."
Got it.
Right. And then the sub was, 4 steps to overcome victim mentality, but why the race card has expired. And they were like, nope. And so when it got uploaded, it came as "Everyone Has Hardships." I'm like, that is a boring title. If it wasn't promoted, I wouldn't feel bad if people were like, I'm not going to watch that. You know what I'm saying? People have to say like, watch this. Because it just, everyone has hardships. It's like, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm a speaker. I'm a coach. I'm a storyteller. I write movie scripts in my spare time, and we'll do the occasional documentary story. But I mean, that's me. I'm an entrepreneur, heart at heart. I'm super passionate about financial literacy and helping people realize radical self-inquiry. And happy to talk more about that, and helping people realize the difference between fault and responsibility.
Uh-oh. There is a difference, isn't there, John?
There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
One, it's, again, we could talk all day about things that are unfair, things that happen this, things that happen that. But at the end of the day, there's a difference between fault and responsibility, right? So there's things that happen that are not your fault at all. But it is always your responsibility to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and move yourself forward. I mean, it's the predicament of the pedestrian. So you guys ever heard this? So there's a pedestrian walking down the street, minding his own business, abiding by the law, just doing his own thing. And there's a lady that's driving, and she falls asleep, veers off the road, runs the pedestrian over. So the pedestrian's in the hospital now. Doctor's like, hey, listen, there is nothing that I can do. There's no surgery that I can do that's going to put you back together. Like, you're just going to be fixed. Like, it doesn't exist. That technology doesn't exist. There's nothing I can do. The only thing I can do, surgery to fix your bones, or, to reset your bones. But what's going to happen is you're going to have to go through years of grueling physical therapy. And that's going to be your only chance at walking normally again and going back to sports and doing the things that you were doing. So the pedestrian is like, wait, no, this is not fair. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. She's the one who shouldn't have been on the road. She jumped off the curb and hit me. It's her fault. I shouldn't. She needs to make this right. Why am I being punished? This is not fair. Now, is the pedestrian wrong? Right? He didn't do anything wrong. He is innocent. He didn't do anything wrong. Is it his fault that he now has to leave work and do all this and like really change his whole entire life to put himself in a position to walk again? Is it his fault? No, but it's his responsibility. She couldn't help him walk if she tried. She's not a physical therapist. She doesn't know what she's doing. She can't. All she can do is pay his medical bills. She can't walk. She can't make his legs walk. She can't make his muscles rebuild. that's a visceral example of fault and responsibility, but take it in every aspect, right? And you combine that with radical self-inquiry, and you got a happy marriage, happy life, and you know what I'm saying, you're moving, moving things that need to be moved.
How would you relate that to financial literacy and just how we are as a society in at least America?
Yep. So I'll talk about both of those things, right? So fault and responsibility. So you mentioned my TED talk, so I'll jump into that. I'll jump into that piece, right? So folks will say, because of this historical thing, or because of slavery, because of the legacy of slavery, or because of Jim Crow laws, or because of redlining, or because of this, blacks struggle to build wealth. Blacks can't build wealth. And I'm like, who, I didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
I didn't get the memo. So here's my anecdote. Here's my anecdotal evidence. That's just also this is real facts. I'm gonna get vulnerable. I'll tell you about my family. So on my dad's side of the family, my grandfather passed away last year, and he had a paid off home in Los Angeles with a back house that is a 1-bedroom apartment. Okay, cha-ching, like, hello, LA, paid off home. You follow me here? He owns this. So he sits me down, him and his wife sits me down and says, when I die, I want you to take care of my estate. And I said, I'll be honored to do that, and so there's a lot of things we can do to keep that. That's an asset. This is an asset, right? This is dollar bills, y'all. So okay, cool. I got all these plans, and I got resources. I got people that are well into the industry that know what they're doing. So he dies. They don't have it in writing. His wife, Miss Aura, she just, some guy knocks on the door and says, I know you're struggling, and I know you're hurting, and I can take this house off your hands so you can just focus, and I know you just want to move away, and she's like, I do, and she sold the house. So it was an opportunity for us to build wealth, right? Black. By the way, I'm Black. I just found out a couple weeks ago, I'm Black. I was like notarized. I got a letter in the mail, it's notarized, signed about the paperwork. So just in case people were like, why is he saying that? I'm Black. So which means my grandfather is also Black.
Yeah.
They all like me, right?
Yeah.
So that's an opportunity. Like, I should be a trust fund baby at this stage. Like, okay, so that's one, right? So that's dad's side of the family. Mom's side, her parents, my grandparents, they died in 96. 94, they paid off their home and left it to my mother and her sister, my auntie. Paid off in 1994. All right, what year is it? That's been a lot of years since then.
Yeah, it's a while ago.
So all you money folks, if you could tell me what you'd do if you could live rent free since 94, bring it. Rent free since 94, $700 a year in taxes. Come on now, you're gainfully employed. And of course, we're gonna real life trade this sucker. But think about that. If you did that for that, there's no reason you wouldn't be a millionaire. Zero reason you wouldn't be a millionaire. So that's one. Thing two is that home could also be turned into, it's 13 blocks from the water. It's in Wilmington, California, still exists today, 13 blocks from the water. And you could probably get an 8-plex, 8 renters on that one property, and is zoned for that already. So my dad's side, I should have a property that I get when my dad dies. I should get that property. It should be an asset. You know what I'm saying? Boom. We should put the kids through college, all that. But we just have money making assets. Mom's side should have mad cash flow. She should be the, rich granny mama who's paying for vacations and whatever. She could be my investor. I should be hitting her up and saying, hey, mom, meet Jerremy. Jerremy, meet mom. Boom, let's make some more money. All of that. However, that's not happening. And it has nothing to do with what's here. It has everything to do with what's here. Everything to do with what's here. So what's going on as far as financial literacy? I'll give you another example that only I can say without getting a ton of backlash.
Yeah.
But so there was a study that they did years ago, and so they took 5 monkeys. They took 5 monkeys in a cage, and there was a ladder. I'm curious if anybody has heard this story, the monkey with the ladder and the bananas. If anybody has, just say heard it. I'm curious. So they took this. There was monkeys in a cage, 5 monkeys in a cage. the ladder and bananas at the top. So whenever a monkey tried to climb the ladder, they would spray all the other monkeys with cold water. Monkeys don't like that, by the way. So they kept doing that until all the monkeys were just like, F this, I am not going up there to get those bananas, even though they were hungry. So then they put the water hose away. No more squirting them with the hose. They didn't tell the monkeys that, but water hose is gone. They took one monkey out, put a new monkey in that's never seen this oppression, sprayed with the water, right? Cold water, right? Monkeys don't like that. But this monkey's never been sprayed with cold water. Never saw his buddies get sprayed with cold water either. Hey, he's just fresh to the game, like coming into the deal, like, hey. So I'm paraphrasing for the monkey, but he's like, so the monkey's like, great, bananas. So he goes up and get the banana. They grab him and they beat him up. So the other monkeys beat this monkey up. They beat him into submission until he stops trying to get the bananas. Then they swap another monkey out and another monkey out and another monkey out until you had 5 monkeys, none of which have been sprayed with a drop of water, but all of which holding themselves back from getting what they could get. So when we talk about the connection between this mindset and financial literacy, it's everything, because my perspective, how I see what I'm looking at, is going to impact what options I think I have. The options I think I have is going to dictate my actions. My actions are going to dictate my outcomes. So if I keep telling myself ridiculous things like the stock market is for a certain type of people and somebody else is doing something for a certain type of people, and I'm not worthy of doing this, or we're just not, that's just not for us. If I keep telling myself nonsense like that, then I am willfully not participating in the creation of wealth. So, and people are convinced of this. So we talk about historical oppression and all this type of stuff, but I like to keep it real. I like to keep it all the way real. So, okay, redlining. People talk about redlining. Hey, let's jump into this redlining. Let's jump into it if you want to.
What is that for people who don't know?
So redlining was a banking practice that excluded people based on their zip code, which came from the origin of credit score and credit worthiness. Now, it so happened that there were the majority of Black folks were in these areas, right? And so it was a form of oppression as far as like, okay, the banks. But when we dig a layer deep, right? If we dig a layer deeper, there were definitely Black families with a good amount of money and great credit that were buying homes in that period. We just don't talk about it. There was also Black banks. So fun fact, there were Black banks back then. And there still are today. A Black bank defined as a bank that the principal officers are Black bank, whatever.
Right. Yep.
Head honcho looks like me, Black bank. There were Black banks then, and there are Black banks now. So tell me, if it's just about skin color, tell me how somebody could be stopped from getting a loan when there is a bank that has the ownership and the staff that looks just like you. If it's just about color, come on now. If it's just about skin color, tell me, did the Black banks participate in redlining? Yes, they did. That's inconvenient, and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable. Oh, it's uncomfortable. And again, let me be clear. I am not saying that unfair circumstances aren't a reality for Black folks, because they were. Let me just be 100% clear. There is some wicked realities. Blacks in America have had a very, very unique history in America. Very unique history, atrocity, for sure. Things that are real and
horrific. Absolutely.
and definitely could be a setback, 100%. That's not what I'm saying. I want to just empower folks, however, with the mindset for 2021, which is like the things that have happened. My grandfather was telling me about a story in the 1960s where a bunch of Black folks in LA said, hey, let's create our own company. We're going to have our own grocery store. Forget them. We're going to have our own grocery store. We're going to have our own stuff. They bought shares. It was $20 a share, 5 share maximum. And people were so prideful, man, getting all those shares and everything like that. It's the 60s. And so they created a grocery store. And that grocery store was humming. Everybody was in there. It was good. So the white grocery store across the street was like, not so good. So some things started happening. They started cutting the refrigeration lines, so the milk would spoil and the meat would rot overnight, and they would do all these things. So a lot of sabotage, right? And then there was a meeting, closed door meeting with some of the leadership at the time, and they decided to return capital to all of the shareholders and shut it down.
Mm.
That was in the 60s.
Mm.
Okay. It's been 50, 60 years since then.
Yep.
So have we not tried anything else? Is it in the 1960s? Is there a difference between 1964 and 1967 and 2021? As far as these things that have happened. So there are all these, so anyways, all these things that are there kind of in reality. So I just look at the things that are in front of folks. I've seen, I live in the Woodlands. Okay. This place it's one of the most it's one of the most celebrated master plan communities in the world, right? It's like, it's either really cool or really creepy. It could be a little step for YZ if you go that far down, but it's suburbia for real.
Sure.
So nice area, right? The guy that bought this land bought it from three brothers, which they are actual brothers, but they're also brothers. So they're brothers and brothers.
Got it.
But he bought it for three brothers, pennies on the dollar. Now, what they didn't have to sell. I wish the collaboration was there. Or even if the vision of the collaboration was there, even the mindset or the strategy to say, I'll sell you 98% of it. I'll sell you 90%. Even if they were like, look, I can't do what he's got this big vision. This guy came and he's got this whole vision. So let's not take that away from dude that bought it, right? But to say, hey, you know what, this has value. Let me take some cash now, but let me hold on to some of this, would have changed their whole family, their whole lives for their whole family or what have you, right? This is one last thing, and I'll shut up so you can ask me another question. But a prime example of financial literacy and kind of the challenges of what's going on is the lottery. So I'll take a poll right now, and I'm gonna guess. I want everybody in the chat. If you play the lottery religiously, like every week or every 2 weeks, whatever, put a 7 in the chat. If you do it every week, if you rarely, never, or on rare occasion when it's like crazy ridiculous, it's pretty, you're like, oh, what the heck? So either never, rarely, or on occasion do it. Put a 3 in the chat.
Okay.
So look at all the 3s compared to
mostly 3s. 1 7.
1 7, mostly 3s. And I would argue that I bet the 7, it's tradition. It's, it is like, it's the thing we do, what I'm saying, whatever the case, right? So for us, it's like Christmas stuffers and, random. And then if it like hits the news or something and everybody's talking about it, then it's like, what the heck? I'm going to donate, that's the thing. So does anybody know the nickname? For the lottery? Yeah, there you go. Poor man's tax.
Okay.
It's the poor people's tax. It's called the poor people's tax because literally poor people are the only people who play the lottery. And the average is like $400 a year. What could you do? What could you advise somebody to do with $400? $400 every year, $400 a year.
Yep. Just directly invest it. Buy some shares, buy some companies, right? Be in something that can appreciate over time.
Yeah. And so if they took that same $400 and funneled it into that instead of buying the lottery tickets, over 10, 20 years, all of a sudden they've got thousands of dollars in the stock market, which is compounding. And, of course, if you're winning, if you're doing this type of stuff, then you're really winning, right? And now all of a sudden it starts, so you didn't lose any of your principal like you do when you buy a lotto ticket, and you're pretty much guaranteeing a win. Again, this is a difference here. It's a difference there.
Yeah.
So that's the battle.
And there's a lot of those aspects because when I think through it, there was a time where you're talking about cars, like how much money you're spending on cars, and then avoiding buying license plate renewals or car insurance because it costs more money, which eventually is going to peg you in the end. But you're like, oh, I'm going to save some money here. But realistically, you're not. So there's so many small things, right? Cash advance loans, alcohol, cigarettes, random food purchases, like things that are just way, way going to over amplify how much you're spending, increasing your expenses and decreasing any investment. So we're going to get to a point where you go, I don't have any money to invest. I don't have any money to invest. I'm spending all that I can on all these things that could have been easily avoided by your normal day-to-day routine and behavior.
Exactly. Hector says the Starbucks $8 mocha. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. I can't tell you how many people I've met that have way nicer car than me. Broke. Struggling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was trying to make the 15-year club. I just got a new car just out of necessity, right? I had a 2006 Chevy Trailblazer. Love the thing.
Yep.
And it was a seat issue it wasn't even the engine. It was a seat thing. I could not get the seat replaced, as silly as it sounds. I couldn't do it. And so it was unsafe to drive at that point. I was like, okay, got to get something newer. Right?
Yeah. Well, there was legitimately a point in time. I absolutely remember, being in a situation where I was 15, 16 and would think, how much money can I spend on cars, sound systems, seats, interiors? Like, we think there's so many people, so many youth in America, regardless of skin color, that think your car is an asset, and they put so much time and money into that rather than just the mindset shift of, what if I bought this amount of stocks, right? What if I invested in these companies? What if I bought all of the shares of Pepsi or McDonald's or Coke or Starbucks rather than put that money into the car? It's just such a massive shift in the mindset.
Totally.
And like, it doesn't matter what skin color you are, doesn't matter where you grow up. I grew up equally as poor as most people did generally. And it comes down to the beliefs and the things that you're taught.
And and again, there's a time and place for that stuff too. I'm not saying I'm not demonizing nice things by any stretch, you know what I mean, or whatever, right? So, but just understand what they are, right? Understand what things are and what, it's like, I value in my personal life, I value quality time with others, right? That's parties and get-togethers and things like that. So I would drop money on upgrading the bar area in the house, or getting a really sweet covered patio with the 3 ceiling fans and the sound stuff, so that we can have a nice party and have get together and have quality time with friends, or a pontoon boat to be able to hang out and this and that and the other. However, I'm not going to do that and then be struggling to pay mortgage and things of that nature.
It's all about priorities. No, I get it, man. Tell me, what are the 3 greatest investments that you've made in your life?
3 greatest investments that I made in my life. I would say, number 1, the investment in myself.
Okay.
That's number 1. I quit speech therapy when I was a kid, and there was a point where my stuttering was so bad that I couldn't speak. And so I did that. So I would say that's a big investment. That was a big investment. Another investment would be going to Necker Island. That was one of the best investments. And because here's the deal, right? Going to Necker Island it's bloody expensive. You could take like 5 vacations for the same price you're going to Necker. But yeah, who said I can't imagine Thomas Wong? Oh yeah. I stuttered so bad I couldn't barely get 2 words together. And I had a pretty traumatic 10th birthday party. And then I went to speech therapy and I told them I want to quit stuttering. And they said, hey, you're going to stutter for the rest of your life. And we're going to help you deal with it. Talk about mindset.
Yeah.
Talk about mindset. And then they're telling me, oh, it's not my fault. It's okay. Arm around. We love you. It's all good. Very, very comforting. John, we got you. Whose responsibility is it? It's mine. So I quit speech therapy and I created my own program to quit stuttering. I recognized there were a few things I can do without stuttering.
Yeah.
So Another great investment was I started really getting serious about reading.
Okay.
Commitment to reading. That was a big one. And Necker Island. So the reason I say Necker Island is Necker Island was bloody expensive to go.
Yep.
And you could take 5 vacations and go, before going to Necker. And I went with my wife and we went twice. But the people that I met on Necker Island would change the trajectory of my life in ways that I could never imagine. Because you think you're thinking big, and then you get there and they're like, oh, all right, I can think bigger. But not only that, the support. Birds of a feather flock together. Tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. You hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th. That's a John Hope Bryant quote. You hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th. Same thing when it comes to Necker Island. Everybody there, it's a certain level of energy and understanding when it comes to what they're thinking about. So when you say something super big, you say a vision that's incredibly ambitious, nobody looks at you like, okay, good luck, we'll see. Nope. They're saying, great, how can I help? So for those that don't know, Necker Island, Necker, is in the British Virgin Islands. And it is it's the home of Sir Richard Branson, who has a bunch of different brands. Virgin is probably the most popular brand. So there it is. All right, I'm gonna do a little Q. Mark says, "What is your best book of all time?"
Oh, good one.
Oh man, I would say it's The One Thing. The One Thing. It's back here.
Who's that by? Do you remember?
Keller, Ryan Kelly, some. I think Ryan. I don't know. I gotta look it up. It's called The One Thing, and I would 100% recommend reading that book, and any book by Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell. I have Racial Disparities. I have Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell. If you haven't, it's a thick one. If you want to get after it, yes. Oh, Thomas, I love Thomas Sowell so much. I think he could have been, if it was cool to be president, he could have done whatever. But that man is probably one of the most under-celebrated human beings on this planet, and he's super, super old, right? So we're not going to have the grace of his presence, I don't think, too much longer. There is a book, Race and Economics book. There's a Race and Economics book, an original Race and Economics book. It's used. I think it's like, I think it's like $700 or something like that. It's expensive, like used. It's like it's like a book that's like $400 or something used. Jay, yes. Isn't there 2 authors? Good job. Thank you, Ross. So that book, my guess, you know what? I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it today and order it, because that book, my guess, is going to skyrocket. Just like a stock, that book is going to skyrocket. Because it's out of print.
Yeah, well, this one right here. So you have hardcover 78, paperback 14, Race and Economics by Walter Williams. This one?
No. That's Walter Williams, and he just died. He's great too. He's like Walter Williams, also fantastic. Gary Keller. Yep, exactly it. It's by Thomas Sowell. It's like an old book.
Okay.
Yeah, let's find it. I'll show you.
Let's track it down.
It's really easy. It's really interesting because when you see it, hold on. Oh, economics, politics, and race.
Basic economics.
So, okay, so go. Oh, this is one. Race and economics. See the one with the dollar bills on it?
Dollar bill. Right? This one.
That one. So look at that one. There, you won't find that. It's out of print. I believe that's the one. It's out of print. There's an international version. I'm not talking about that. Okay. So.
Paperback, okay. Canadian, $50.
$50 used.
Yeah.
$50 used. There's other ones. There's a bunch of his books. He's got a ton of great books, and there's a lot of them out of print. I'm thinking now that I want to get his entire. I have several of his books back here, but I want to get his entire collection, because not only do I think it's valuable, but I think that when word gets around that he passes, it's going to be
blacks, rednecks, whites, and liberals.
Yes.
Is that the same author?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thomas Sowell.
Wow,
Oh, that
5 stars. I've never heard of this guy. So this is the first time. I appreciate you sharing this with me.
Oh, you're in for a huge treat. You're in for a
You are
huge
in for a treat.
Now it's really amazing. So Milton Friedman was his
Shoot.
professor. So
Ah,
yeah, Milton Friedman was Thomas Sowell's professor. So if you know of Milton Friedman, and Thomas Sowell used to be a Marxist. Idealistically, he was a Marxist when he grew up. He was a Marxist,
dang.
and then real life helped him understand that understand that it's a good idea, but it's not good in practice. Actually, the basis for my next book is is the Cobra Effect. That's going to be the title of it, by the way.
Wow. I have not heard of this guy, man. I appreciate you sharing this with me. This is awesome.
Yeah, that's
Every one of his books is like 5 stars.
oh, you're not going to find if it's
Wow.
4.97, somebody's hating. It's that good. The
Love
challenge with Thomas Sowell books, I'll tell you, is it really challenges your. He's so, and this is the challenge with. I think that it probably makes sense to actually remix all of his books and all of his videos. He's so smart, and he uses these fancy words that you have to stop and like sometimes, at least me, but stop and break down and go, what does he mean by this? It's unreal. Some of the greatest questions. He said 3 questions to ask folks, especially in political arguments and discussions, is at what cost? What proof do you have? And compared to what? 3 very, very powerful questions by Thomas Sowell. At what cost?
Love it.
Compared to what? And what evidence do you have? So, but I think that again, and just to kind of put a bow, well, not put a bow on it, but talking about race stuff, here's one of the challenges I think that are, it's uncomfortable because it's so nuanced, this discussion, but there's a connection between race and money. I did a documentary called The Dark Dollar, which I'm working on distribution. I'm working on distribution now, and quite frankly,
let me know when it's out, dude. I've only seen snippets, and I want the whole thing.
let me tell you. So we had an opportunity to get it distributed through a major network for a distribution, but when that happens, they own the show, and they're basically my boss. And the vision of the show was such a departure from what we wanted to do. I mean, it was completely the opposite. I had to decline that opportunity. Just had to decline it. And I am not kidding you. Hollywood, as far as the media and stuff, I've met with all the big networks. Name a big network, I've met with them about The Dark Dollar, right? Literally every single one, from Paramount to Netflix to it doesn't matter who it is. I can tell you with certainty, and I've done over the last 4 years, with certainty, I have not had one meeting that they haven't bashed our former president.
Yeah.
President Trump. And I'm like, we're talking, this has nothing to do with politics. However, that is the new how's the weather. That's the new how's the weather. It's like, hey, good morning, screw Trump, da 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 da, and this and that. And then they would just make all these assumptions. And they would say things like, because the Dark Dollar, it is not the white man's fault. It is not this and that. It's not that. It is something to empower you to be like, hold on, this is something like, wait a minute, I'm gonna broaden my perspective and see things differently now. That's what it's about. So I'll just say this, in the next 40 days, we'll be officially going in a different direction to get the distribution figured out. So
awesome, man.
But
can't wait to see that documentary. It's going to be incredible. Very, very confident. It's going to be mind liberating.
Yeah, sure. I gotta get ready because there's that, and then I got a book that I've been meaning to write, and I'm gonna finish that this year. It's called The Cobra Effect. And I think it's gonna blow people's minds.
It will. Yep, it will. You gave me a little bit of a highlight when we were on on Buck Island. So
hey, is Alex Hill trolling? Look, he goes, do you believe that racism is the biggest challenge facing the Black community today? No. Listen, Alex, it's not even on the top 10 list. It's not even, literally, it is not even top 10. It is not even top 10. No.
Oh. What would be top 3 in your opinion, if you had to pick?
5 fathers in the home, financial literacy, and self-accountability, self-responsibility.
Yep.
And again, I'm not saying that that was without historical fault, because there are things that, like, the whole, like, it was unfair that the monkeys got sprayed with cold water. Like, that's just jacked up. You know what I'm saying? And then you know, it's like the whole oven thing, right? Like, why'd you cut off the ends of the roast? Because my mom always did. Well, and then she said, well, because my mom always did. And then the grandma was like, because my oven was too small. Well, the person that's cutting the ends off the roast, they're just cutting the ends off and they don't know why.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that. I do understand, but it is the information age now. This is the new industrial, the new industrial age. It's the information age. So you have, just with your phone, you have every piece of information known to man on access to your fingertips right here for free.
Yeah.
The game is literally, it's being sold, but it's being told everywhere. It's here.
Yeah.
And so there's, although people in the 60s could successfully be sabotaged in that way, how are you going to do it now? How are you going to do it today? And so when people talk about that, it's funny. Over the last 4 years, I've had arguments with white liberals who were arguing with me about my oppression, about their privilege over me. How ironic is that? So then I say, okay, and I'll say something. I'll use an example. It's like say, okay, tell me what privilege you have over me. And several of these folks, I earn more. I have a nicer neighborhood, better situation. Like, I'm waiting to see what your privilege is.
Sure.
It's like, and then again, here's the challenge with political discussion in society. Nuance is non-existent. Context is non-existent. Context before specifics. Think about all political arguments. What do they say? Oh, that was taken out of context. Oh, this was no, that was taken completely out of context. Completely out of context. Here's the truth. There was no context to begin with. Think about it, right? If I say something, but I don't give you the context, I leave it to you to interpret it any way you want, but that's what I want. Because if you interpret it the way I want you to interpret it, hey, well, it's all good. If you interpret it the wrong way, I leave myself a defense mechanism to be able to say, no, you took that out of context. No. For you. No, it was over here. So our daughter used to do when she'd like pour like way too much of a snack or something. And we were like, Grace, that is way too much. She'd go, no, it's for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, she reserved the context, right? So she didn't come out and say, this is my snack. So she reserved that, and she would always pivot. We were cracking up. A huge bowl of like Cheez-Its or something. We're like, no, honey, that's way too much. No, it's for you. Like, that's the context, right? This is it. So
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah. Rock said the greatest comment I think I've ever heard. He says, I feel like I just took a pre-workout. That's what listening to John Guydon is always like. You guys can see why I cherish him as a friend. He has not only opinions, but also knowledgeable facts, experience. At the end of the day, it is all opinions. That's all we have, but it's also backed by a lot of energy, beliefs, guidance, preparation, thought processes, mindsets, and the way we're structured as both humans and entrepreneurs, man. Let me share everyone your website with you just in case you guys didn't know that your boy JG, John Guydon, there it is, johnguydon.com, easy to remember. So if you ever need to reach out to him, you got books, documentary, coaching, speaking. If you fancy yourself as a public speaker, both myself and Matt DeLong have obviously worked with John and tried to beef up our speaking abilities and our presentation skills, because this man is straight fire. Go to johnguydon.com, follow him on all the socials, do all that thing. But
so people are asking how to reach out. So okay, so absolutely. So yeah, through my website, the contact us form. Also, you guys are family. So my email is just jg@johnguydon.com. You can reach out to me directly. And yeah, happy to interact. So do I have I want one nice. Yeah, Lottie or Laddie.
People are loving it, man. Loving it.
Hit me up. I only work. I got 80 hours of footage. I don't need no NDA. We good. No, all good. So I want to leave you with one thing. So it's interesting. Okay. People would say, in this argument, people would say, well, what about this? Well, what about this? What about this? And they said, well, somebody says, you've got a 60% chance of going to prison. I said, excuse me? I said, yeah, you got a 60% chance of going to prison because you're Black. I said, do you realize how silly that sounds? That just because I'm think about this, just because I'm Black, I have a 60% chance of going to prison over you? No, Jerremy Newsome for sure is going to get arrested before John Guydon will. 100%. 100%. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's full of trouble. So the reality is this. So just like Thomas Sowell, I sent for the data because I didn't want to just argue the points with the merits. I said, let's send for the data. And when you dig through the data enough, again, money is the theme. You dig through the data, here's what I found. I found two statistics that are very inconvenient for the race discussion, but actually helpful if you want things to get better. Here are the two things we found. One is something called pre-incarceration income.
Yeah, this is a big one. This is the big one.
Pre-incarceration income. The name says it all. It's like how much money you made before you got locked up. The difference between white males and Black males was $400 a year. Lawyer, Hector said it, lawyer money. So if I get in trouble, I can afford a lawyer, a good one. I'm going to try to keep my butt out of prison. You know what I'm saying? Period. Yeah. Money talks. So that's one, pre-incarceration income. The difference between white men and Black men was the same, was that. I throw away the outliers, we get the white collar crimes, like people are trying to, whatever, you the vast majority. But here's the most damning one. 90% of all men incarcerated, all incarcerated men, not Black, not white, all had one thing in common. And you guys are so smart, I'm gonna let you say it. Look, not Yoda already got it.
Yep.
Not Yoda already got it. Father, no fathers. 90%.
Regardless of race.
Yep. 90%. They all got caught. Yeah, they all have that too in common as well, Joel. They all got caught. But 90%, no fathers. So let's keep it real. Let's talk about what's really real. Sometimes it's a difficult discussion, but the good news is, you have everything in your control to turn your life around. You have no excuse to be broke. You definitely have no excuse to be poor in America. There's a difference between being broke and being poor. Being broke is economic. Being poor is a debilitating frame of mind. A depressed condition of your spirit, as John Hope Bryant says. So you must vow never to be poor again.
Love it. So true, man. So true. Because we all have access to it. It's all there. We just have to have the mindset shifts, the beliefs. We have to read the books. We have to reach out to the people. We have to talk through certain things. We have to believe certain things. We have to think certain things. If you want more money, you have to think different thoughts. It all comes together. And this, my man, was a truly riveting discussion about financial literacy, but really what holds a lot of people back. And it really does come down to their belief system, their structure, what they believe they're at and why they think they're there and why they think they got there. And understanding that the only difference between anyone, in my opinion, is the beliefs that they had to get there.
That's right.
So, dude, I love you, man. You're such an awesome guy.
Right back at you.
Such an awesome guy. This was incredible. Guys, if you got fired up by that interview, type a 1 into the chat pane. Feel free to reach out to John Guydon on all the socials. Absolutely make sure to watch that TEDx presentation. It is so good. It's some of the best 20 minutes you will spend.
Yep. And I am John Guydon everywhere social. I am John Guydon, jg@johnguydon.com or johnguydon.com. Get at me.
Love it, dude. Love you, bro. Take care, my man. I'll see you later.
Thanks.
Yep. All right, brothers, sisters, friends, and family from around the world. There you go. Again, Real Life Trading is celebrating Friends Month, which is February. And that's me reaching out to a friend just to share his enthusiasm and experience and energy with the world, and also helping us understand so much more pieces that are the puzzle of the financial sphere, and not only America, but really intrinsically the world, because that's one of Real Life Trading's goals. One of our ultimate goals is to change the top 1% of the entire planet into the top 2%. And I know that I'm going to be able to do that. We're going to be able to do that as a team, as a group, as a family. Team, thank you guys so much for watching this interview. You rock.